to this week.
Yep.
Let's hear it. What have you got?
Indeed. So a couple of, in fact, they're all quite big shows. One at the Malthouse, which is Made in China 2.0, one at the MTC, and one big musical. So we'll talk about, I'll talk about those. Please interject if you need to. Don't phone in. I'm not talking to audience.
No requests.
No requests. So this Made in China 2.0 or 2.0 is written and co-directed by a Chinese performer, Wang Chong. And Malthouse has produced it, and there's a co-director, Emma Valente, working with him. So I can't say a great deal about it, and I'll explain why shortly. It's the second production presented in Australia by Chong. He's a Chinese theatre director, writer and performer. The first was called Little Emperors. That was 2017, also at the Malthouse, written by Chong with Lachlan Philpott, a writer and director from Australia. It's an unusual solo performance, as I said, co-directed with a Melbourne director, Emma Valente. He begins with a casual chat direct to audience and a direct address, which is very gentle and charming and reveals himself to be engaging. He talks about his development as a theatre artist and his life in art. So it seems to be, is this just going to be a chat? And then slowly it evolves, it escalates. It's sometimes surprising, often harrowing, but always enlightening as a representation of his, what he would describe, and we would, risk-taking theatre style, and his personal views on art and life. And you can hear that I'm not giving you specifics, and I'll explain why. Think China. He's magnetic. His theatrical style is challenging, and it'll leave you with plenty to think about. We were talking about it all the way home, and maybe for days after. It starts to become visual. It's not just him talking to the audience. So the reason I can't discuss specifics is that, so this is not a review as such, is we are advised not to reveal the details.
And the sort of
this is to do
the
with
subject matter.
Yes, exactly. So you really need to see it to judge his charismatic performance for yourself and find out what I'm talking about. But I gave it 4 stars. So out of 5, that's sort of
it's pretty
a bit
good.
of a key, I think. We wanted to abide by his,
Of course.
recommendations. Well, we're required to.
And sorry, where that was at the Malthouse?
That's at the Malthouse, yeah. And that runs, do I have the final date? No, I don't. It's still running. Bernhardt, Hamlet is written by Teresa Rebeck, American writer. That's the Melbourne Theatre Company, and that's at the Sumner Theatre in South Bank at the MTC location until the 15th of April. I gave this 3.5 stars. And Sarah Bernhardt was perhaps the most famous French actress of the late 19th and early 20th century. She was renowned for having a mellifluous, almost musical speaking voice, and for her charismatic presence as she posed and gestured and declaimed. So she delivered dialogue in that histrionic acting style of that period. So she wasn't using that truthful method acting style that's become more common in the last 100 years.
More theatrical.
Yes, very big, declaiming, large gestural and posing, and she had people falling all over her. So I'll talk about those in a minute. At the time of this imagined episode in Rebeck's play, it's 1899. She's 55 years old. So she can no longer play those ingenue roles that made her so famous, like the again, histrionically dying and ailing Camille. It sent audiences into paroxysms. She had fans who were given a title, like a fan club called Sarah Doteur, people who doted on Sarah. So she had a fan club. And so she wanted to recoup her financial losses after various shows and make a big splash, so she decides to play Hamlet. Now, think 1899. It's not current, where women are playing men quite commonly in movies, stage, etc. A woman playing this role in 1899 was outrageous. It's one of the most notoriously difficult of Shakespeare's male roles, and there she goes. She thinks she'll have a go at it. So Kate Mulvaney plays this role, plays Sarah Bernhardt in this, and there are other actors with her. Kate Mulvaney played Richard III
yes.
some years ago, and it was extraordinary. She may not have that same melodic voice, not that we know what Sarah Bernhardt sounded like specifically, and the magnetism of Bernhardt, but she captures the ambition and the vision and the drive and this larger-than-life personality and her compulsion to maintain her celebrity, and also her hearty appetite for sexual adventure, I think. She was renowned for that. So it's very interesting. There are some problems. It becomes a bit bogged down in comparing her uncertainty and doubt about the role with Hamlet's as well, and it spins its wheels a bit. But it is very interesting. Here's the one I really want to get to, And Juliet, which is a pop musical, I suppose, about Juliet. So imagine if you take out the word Romeo from the title of Shakespeare's play, you get And Juliet. So this in the time when we're shifting focus from, quote, the white patriarchy. It was only a matter of time before Romeo and, in fact, Shakespeare himself were removed from their own play, his own play. Jukebox musical works better than most. The songs are all by Max Martin, who, as you know, wrote lots and lots of hit numbers
Big
for
pop hits, especially in the 90s.
Yeah, absolutely. And, a lot of those are in this. They're all hits. One after the other. So it strings them together with a book by David West Reed, and it is really fun. I kept thinking I'm using E-words to describe it. Ebullient, effusive, effervescent, exciting, excitable, ecstatic. And I thought they're all E-words and they all apply to the performers and, the show itself. It is really fun. There's lots of really pulsating choreography. There's great singers, a bunch of really young performers. In fact, 7 of them are in their debut on professional stage. The lead is doing her first lead on stage, Lorinda May Merrypaw, who is terrific, big, bold voice. Amy Lee Palmer, who I love, is playing Anne Hathaway, who is taunting Shakespeare, her husband, into writing a new play.
Yeah.
Juliet lives, is the point. She lives after Romeo dies. So you see her and she just carries on. That's where this story starts. I should have said that at the beginning, shouldn't I? So the entire story is Juliet living, quote, her best life and making her choices and, not obeying her parents. And she's already done that. She married Romeo. It's fun.
Yep.
It's really fun, and it's worth seeing, and take the family and look up who Max Martin is.
And where's that one playing?
That is at the Regent. And from Feb, at the moment they're booking until mid-May, so it may well go longer. It's run in Broadway and on the West End and stuff. So,
and I looked up, as you were talking, and Made in China 2.0 is on until the 19th of March.
Thank you, 19th
You're welcome.
of March.
Well, thank you so much, Kate Herbert. Another wonderful amount of reviews, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks with a whole bunch of
4 weeks.
Oh,
actually,
I'm sorry,
there's a bit of a hitch with some other stuff that's taking my place.
Well, we'll look forward to you in 4 weeks. Thanks again, Kate.
Amazing food with an amazing view. Eastern Bell Chinese Restaurant. Visit Nicholas and his team upstairs at 399 Belmore Road, Balwyn for live seafood, lunch, dinner, takeaway or banquets. With some of the best Cantonese and spicy Sichuan cuisine in Melbourne. For reservations, please call 9857 437